Oh, wait, what happened here? All right, hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 2 in taking place here on Ancient Isle. Over here on the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have 120 spawning as the blue undead. Meanwhile, over here on the top left, we have Moon spawning as the red night elf. Night elf versus undead in game number 2 of this series. Currently playing with patch 1.2.0. Did I even have 1.2.0? Well, apparently I do, since I am able to watch this particular game. I know the American servers are actually at 1.28. All right, 1.281. Excuse me. I do have. I did end up picking up a cough button, but well, it actually added some distortion, and trying to get all of the proper cabling and everything would have been like $300 to make sure that it didn't have any distortion. So, well, I have a cough button that, well, doesn't do anything right now. So, all of you guys, thank you if you did say bless you. If you didn't, well, I now know how you really feel about me. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things out here. Death Knight over here coming out from 120, no big surprise. Meanwhile, over here on the top left, we are gonna see a Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove, not your typical hero at all, and I'm wondering, are we going to be seeing some sort of entanglement coming across? Now, this is going to be a very, very important issue to see. Did Moon notice that 120 chose Unholy Aura before he actually spotted out what hero was trained? That is the main reason why undead players do not go Unholy Aura first when going up against a Night Elf, because if your opponent does go Keeper of the Grove, you need that Death Coil to try and heal your ghouls. Otherwise, the ghouls will just end up falling apart and getting choked alive by that Keeper of the Grove. All right, let's take a look at this Death Knight now wandering out, and he does go Unholy Aura. Now, here's the question. Is the Keeper of the Grove going to go ahead and shut that down? That is the big question here. Did he all realize this? The Keeper of the Grove can get in there, root out a ghoul, and then hit it a couple of times so that it ends up getting taken out. All you can then really do is, let's take a look at he's going to be Acolytes. Acolytes. All right, so Acolyte's going to be taking some damage. 1, 2, all right, 2 shots, and that is enough. A new Acolyte will need to be trained. Oh, no, a new Acolyte will not need to be trained. That Acolyte now purposely moving to the backside as he does not want to take too much damage. Meanwhile, this Keeper of the Grove is still wandering around here. The Death Knight is walking a little bit faster, but perhaps he's really hoping that he could somehow just heal up that one Acolyte there. All right, Keeper of the Grove now trying to get away. This is not a good spot to be in. Moon's harassment, if it is, well, not doing much of anything, then it is just a waste of time right now, as we are seeing Moon currently with a Hunter's Hall getting Ultra Vision, and I don't know if he's gonna in fact be training Huntresses. The Keeper of the Grove wandering around here. The Death Knight most likely realized that his opponent was not going for tier 2, and with that knows that a large number of Huntresses is on its way. Graveyard now being added. One extra Acolyte hiding in the backfield here, sitting on Blight, will regenerate a lot of hit points, as I believe Moon's harassment is just going to fall short. He is not getting enough traction as much as he would like to, as the Huntress is just, well, getting in some superficial damage onto some of these units. All right, dual Ancients of War for dual Huntress push, and we are going to see that Nerubian Tower in place to slow down those units. All right, Death Knight chasing back off to the north here. What's happening? A Huntress is going to go ahead and engage. There's a little bit of damage. What is going on? A little bit of bounce damage coming across from those glaives, as well as the Keeper of the Grove still does not have any experience whatsoever. Keeper of the Grove only does 20 to 26 damage. Meanwhile, those Huntresses really start to do a lot more damage when you consider that bounce and what is going to be going on right there. Could be putting pressure onto some of these units. All right, there you go. There is an entanglement right there, as this one Huntress may be forced to try and run away. There goes one ghoul. Now, are they going to perhaps be able to get a little bit more damage again? Halls of the Dead is nearly done, as we are looking at a skeletal minion most likely going to get taken out right there. Yes, it does. Keeper of the Grove now a little bit more closer to level 2. Thorn's Aura or Ents. What are we going to be looking at here, as that Nerubian Tower does put a lot of pressure here, and you don't want to engage for far too long. Does he know that he can no longer put pressure? He doesn't know the timer on this Halls of the Dead, but he has a good idea, as we now see, well, a Glaive Thrower and Ancient Protectors. All right, the follow-up play here, well, is just going to be an all-in strategy in terms of pressure, as this one Glaive Thrower is going to be putting in some extra damage again. Lich going to be in trouble. Ancient Protectors now slowly rooting their way over. Are we getting more Glaive Throwers? Yes, we are. And this is the only race that can actually get siege attacks while still sitting at tier 1. One of the dangers here, as we are now looking at the Ancient Protectors rooting themselves. All right, in comes the attacks here. Acolytes being brought back over. There's an Acolyte getting entangled, as the damage is going to get slowly higher and higher. All right, there you go. Skeletal minions in the back. You see some repairs right there. Detonation going across, as the Lich is now not going to see the light of day. This is going to be extremely bad news. Only a single hero, and there is no real advantage to tier 2 for a little while longer. All right, there goes a Ghoul. Ancient Protectors destroying the crypt. And what I said was a poor harassment all of a sudden turns into a great tower rush by the Great Moon, as you see another Ancient Protector trying to come into play. All right, Crypt Fiends in position here. Entangle, not going to make it easy at all. As you can see, that damage is slowly getting added back up, trying to add a little bit more. There goes that Crypt Fiend, as this one Ancient Protector is getting in a little bit more damage. All right, we see another Entangle right there, and that's the problem when you try and get within range. All of a sudden, you just realize you're just taking so much damage again and again. It looks as though this crypt is going to get taken out, and that may be the end of this crypt right there. No more production units until the Obsidian statue comes out here, and, well, this one particular crypt comes into play as well. Ancient Protector. I'm going to uproot itself. Quad Glaive Throwers. You can see a quick entangle. That Crypt Fiend never stood a chance. Gonna get absolutely destroyed here in just a second. More Wisp being brought over, as that damage is just far too much. No Meat Wagons. Though Meat Wagon now finally being trained up. Ancient Protector gonna go ahead and root itself here. Why are these Wisps not repairing? The Wisp should just be on auto repair right now, as the units are just continuing to fight back here. Keeper of the Grove still sitting at level 1. Doesn't really care though, as he is going to be getting up to 75 mana again. That means the Crypt Fiends will not be able to engage. This one particular Hunter is taking far too much damage, as it is going to, well, get rooted right there. All right, Death Knight now trying to lead the charge here, realizing that this is just in a horrible spot to be in. There's a detonation, removing some of that blight, as the Glaives are now just continuing this push in once more. 120 is in serious trouble. He has one Meat Wagon, and one Meat Wagon only, in order to counteract all of this damage here, and there is just far too many Glaive Throwers coming across. Death Knight doing a one last all-effort push. No Death Coil, perhaps the big issue here, as you are now looking at more and more units getting taken down. It looks as though, yes, Keeper of the Grove does have level 2 now. Thorn's Aura has been added, making it harder for those ghouls to even engage. And the Death Knight now running away once more. 31 over 30 supply, upside down on supply. Massive number of Glaive Throwers, 50 over 50. And this tower encroachment will end up shutting down 120 as he falls behind in this series. I believe 2-0. All right. Glaives. Now that Glaive, does finally get taken down. The Wisp unable to repair it in time, but there are still 5 Glaive Throwers in position right here. At this point, there's not much that can be done. He's just trying to resurrect. He's trying to get another Ziggurat. He's trying to train up more units, but it's not going to work. He is very much upside down on supply with no room to build. And with this, 120 is gonna have to give the GG or just drop and flip the table in frustration, knowing that He just was not ready for the craziness that is Moon. There's the GG. Moon takes a 2-0 lead in this series after what looked to be a failed keeper of the Grove rush, only to be a great keeper of the Grove tower push. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game number 2.